welcome to English Through Experience. I'm ET Tutor and this is another revision video for Edexcel GCSE English Language students, Paper 1 Section A, and we're looking at an example from Jane Eyre. So this time it's question number 2. So if you haven't got a pen, grab one now and you'll be able to take some notes about the approach, and also if you want to jot down your own answers, that'll be great. So from paragraphs 2 to 3, give 2 ways the narrator is shown to be different to the other children. You may use your own words or quotation from the text. So I've highlighted the question in the way that I'd suggest that you do when you're doing the exam. If you went outside the area that's stated, the examiner's never going to be able to give you 2 marks, even if those examples you gave related to the question focus. They can't give the marks if they're from the wrong section, so it is important. Just to note, because this is a practice one, I have given you a little bit more to look at this time in case you're struggling, because there's quite a few different examples that we can use here, so it's good for practice. It's more likely to say from lines whatever to whatever. Right, so to make us start, I'm going to read out that section, so if you're not keen on listening, just skip forward 10 seconds, that should probably do it. Right, I was glad of it. I never liked long walks, especially on chilly afternoons. Dreadful to me was the coming home in the raw twilight with nipped fingers and toes, and a heart saddened by the chidings of Bessie, the nurse, and humbled by the consciousness of my physical inferiority to Eliza, John, and Georgiana Reed. The said Eliza, John, and Georgiana were now clustered round their mamma in the drawing room. She lay reclined on a sofa by the fireside, and with her darlings about her, for the time neither quarrelling nor crying, looked perfectly happy. Me she had dispensed from joining the group, saying, she regretted to be under the necessity of keeping me at a distance, but that until she'd heard from Bessie and could discover by her own observation that I was endeavouring in good earnest to acquire a more sociable and childlike disposition, a more attractive and sprightly manner, something lighter, franker, more natural, as it were, she really must exclude me from privilege intended only for the contented, happy little children. Okay, so Mama seems lovely, doesn't she? Right, we want those own words or quotations now that show how Jane is different to the other children. And I've highlighted quotations because sometimes when people put it into their own words, they do go slightly wrong. They might not have fully understood, and in their interpretation, if they haven't, it'll be clear and it won't result in the marks. But I'm going to talk about embedding quotations this time because it works quite nicely with this particular question. So if you're not sure what embedding quotations means, it just means when you directly include a quote within your own sentence. So let's have a look at that. Now, the most straightforward one, which I hope that you did pick up on as an example, because it's always good if you can see the easiest option, is the one in the second paragraph here. So the fact that the narrator is humbled by the consciousness of my physical inferiority to Eliza, John, and Georgiana Reed. So she's aware that she's not as physically strong as them based on her experiences of these long walks. So what we could do here is say the narrator is different to the other children because of her, quotation, physical inferiority. And if you got those 2 words within that sentence, then that would be a mark. Or alternatively, you could just put humbled by the consciousness of my physical inferiority to Eliza, John and Georgiana Reed. So there you need to include the other children to make sure that you are showing how the narrator is different, and you're showing that because it's coming from the narrator's point of view. It's the narrator who's humbled, and we've got the difference there as well. So 2 ways of dealing with that first example. And then let's have a look now for a second example. And again, I think this time we'll go for trying to embed the quote. So we can see we've got this section here where we learn that Mama has basically told Jane to do one, and she's not allowed to sit with her lovely angelic children. And we have this phrase here, me, she had dispensed from joining the group. So again, if we want to embed, we can say the narrator is shown to be different because she's not allowed to join in with the other children, and then pop in, quote, me, she had dispensed from joining the group. Close your quote. Now, it is a bit of a more long-winded way of doing it because you've got to write out that part. The narrator is shown to be different to the other children, which does take time and doesn't directly gain you the mark. So it's up to you whether you wanted to just put in, me, she had dispensed from joining the group. That would be enough. But some people like the closure of enclosing the quote within a question where they feel that they can really clearly see how they've answered the question and they've addressed that question focus. So a couple of ways of doing it there. I hope that's helped. There is possibly more examples that you could get out from this second paragraph. I'd highlighted a couple of other bits that you could play around with. So if anybody's got any other ideas, any suggestions, use the comment section below and I'll try and get back to you. And yeah, really hope that one's helped. Be great if you can join me again for question 3, because I know that some students find that a little bit more tricky. All right then, best of luck with all the revision. Bye for now.